Hello everybody, we are Carolyn Fontagnol from the University of Poitiers and Catherine Mathon from the University of Bordeaux-Montaigne. Today we are going to present a communication entitled A Cross-Linguistic Study on how emotion is perceived in sports commentaries. It's a cross-linguistic study because we work on commentaries in both Japanese and French. Our work is at the interface of two distinctive and quite productive fields of research. On one hand, we are interested in emotional prosody research, more specifically in the perceptive experiments that have been conducted in this field for at least 2 decades. On the other hand, we are working into the genre of discourse field on a specific phonogenre, which is sports commentaries. Thus, here we are presenting a perceptive experimentation on sports emotion. The aims of the study are to acknowledge the existence of sports emotion through detection and evaluation by listening subjects, to characterize sports emotion using traditional semantic scales usually related to emotions, and to evaluate the impact of prosodic information on the recognition of sports emotion. We are working here with a large corpus of TV commentaries of the 2007 Rugby World Cup matches. In all, we have 43.5 hours of recordings. It's an interesting corpus because it's available in different languages, in this case, in French, English, and Japanese. For the same recorded footage, the commentary is available either in French and English or in French and Japanese. That's why we selected one match available in French and Japanese both, Japan versus Fiji. This match presents some interesting features regarding to emotions in sports. During the entire match, the score was very close, leading to a lot of suspense. We expected extra team support from the Japanese journalist and expert, which could conduct to the expression of subjectivity and maybe emotion. Stimuli were selected according to the final score online report, which indicates the key gameplays, the player involved, and the timing. 21 stimuli were chosen from the video using gameplays as time frames for each stimulus. 29% of the stimuli are commentaries of tries, 28% are commentaries related to penalty kicks, 24% are related to try conversions, and finally, 19% are commentaries taking place during some strong attacking moves. All of these gameplays are effective or potential scoring opportunities. As you can see on the blue table, gameplays were studied in 3 conditions. We extracted the stimuli from French and Japanese audio signal for the same 21 gameplays, and then we applied a low-pass filtering on French audio stimuli in order to hide the lexical content. We asked subjects to evaluate each stimuli according to 3 5-point scales: an arousal scale from no arousal, 1, to full arousal, 5, an intensity scale from low intensity to high intensity, 5, a valence scale from very negative, -2, to very positive, +2, with a neutral point, 0. Subjects were asked to answer the question as spontaneously as possible without too much hesitation. We presented each set of stimuli that we just described to 2 different groups constituted of more or less 20 subjects each. Subjects are all French native speakers, about 20 years old, studying for a bachelor's degree in linguistics or a master's degree in French as a foreign language. None of the subjects speak or even understand Japanese. Group G tested Japanese stimuli, whereas Group FF tested French filtered stimuli. We added a control group to whom we presented the French stimuli without any filter, so they can have access to lexical content as well as prosodic cues.
Okay, let's see the results. We first compared the emotional detection linked to each gameplay, try conversion, penalty kicks, and attacking moves, regarding of arousal, intensity, and valence. Let's begin with arousal and intensity. Figures 1 and 2 show the levels of arousal evaluated regarding of each gameplay, and figures 3 and 4 show the levels of intensity. The highest level of arousal is detected in commentaries over tries and attacking moves. Penalty kicks are also detected as high-level stimuli regarding arousal for group J. It's interesting to note that intensity and arousal scores seem correlated. The repartition of high-intensity levels and high arousal levels are quite similar for a try, from 70 to 80%, and for attacking moves from 50 to 60% between the two conditions. Figures 5 and 6 show how subjects from group FF and group J evaluate the valence of the commentaries over each type of gameplay. We can see that try is the gameplay that is perceived as the most positive by both groups. We can also note that a try conversion is perceived as the neutral gameplay, mostly by group J. In the table below, we can sum up the most prominent results for each gameplay. Try is correlated with high arousal, high intensity, and a positive valence. Try conversion is correlated with low arousal, low intensity, and a neutral valence. Penalty kicks are correlated with medium high arousal, medium intensity, and a neutral to positive valence, specifically for group J. And attacking moves are correlated with high arousal, high intensity, and a neutral to positive valence, specifically for group FF. We chose to study biased emotion in the Japanese commentaries of tries, which is a game action that enables a team to score the most points, 5 points, 5 points in total. It's also the gameplay which registers the highest level of perceived arousal and intensity. During the Japan versus Fiji match, 6 tries were scored, 4 by the Fijians and 2 by the Japanese. We can see on the figures tries in chronological order from left to right. We can see the levels of arousal in shades of red, the levels of valence from gray to yellow, and intensity in shades of blue. All these results have been detected by the subjects listening to 6 Japanese stimuli corresponding to the commentary of the 6 tries which were scored during the match. It's then clear that the highest levels of arousal and intensity are detected when the Japanese score a try at the same time. The valence is always positive to very positive. Many studies have shown that prosody alone can enable us to recognize various kinds of emotion very accurately. One aim of this study was to confirm that subjects supplied only with prosodic cues could still recognize and characterize sports emotion. Thus, we compared the results obtained from the filter stimuli group with the results we obtained from the control group, that is to say, French subjects who had access to French stimuli without any alteration of the signal. We see very few differences, in fact, between stimuli with lexical content and filter stimuli. Indeed, the evaluation of arousal on figures 8 and 9 shows similar tendencies. High levels of arousal are detected for tries and attacking moves, while try conversion and penalty kicks are perceived with a lower level of arousal. Furthermore, it seems that the repartition of arousal and intensity along the 5-point scale is quite similar for try conversion and penalty kicks. Though the intensity results present also some differences between the two conditions, filtered and controlled. Indeed, intensity seems to be perceived as much stronger in the French filter stimuli, especially for tries, and this was quite unexpected considering that low-pass filtering tends to diminish signal intensity. We can form the hypothesis that in this case, intensity is a mirror of the arousal perceived in the same condition, and that without sufficient input, subjects confuse arousal and intensity.
So this study proposed an exploratory perceptive test on sports emotion recognition using a 2-hour-long corpus of rugby commentaries in French and Japanese. Further research will investigate the prominence of prosodic cues in the detection of emotion in sports commentaries with larger groups. This study has shown that sports emotion can be characterized by a high level of arousal and intensity, but also that subjects has a tendency to associate sports emotion to a positive polarity. That's to say, sports emotion is more easily associated to joy than anger, especially for tries, as we've seen previously on the valence results. When the lexical content is erased, it's harder for subjects to evaluate sports emotion in regard to the valence scale. Although this exploratory study has shown some interesting facts about sport emotion and prosodic cues. Even if the stimuli were filtered and the lexical content absent, emotion can be detected by subjects on the basis of prosodic cues and being evaluated through the traditional scales as arousal, valence, and intensity. To conclude and to integrate those results in regards to previous research, TV sports commentary can be constrained by the genre itself. Indeed, TV sports commentary is the result of the struggle of two constraints that weigh on this genre and impact several linguistics levels. The first constraint being the mediatic constraint linked to the broadcaster's objective to capture and captivate a large audience. The second being objectivity, which is linked to the journalistic genre and the necessity to inform television viewers and analyze game action. That's to say that discourse is produced in a balanced way between some moments when the emotional aspect takes over objectivity, which is even more true when the commentators shows team bias. It would be really interesting to make a new perception test taking in mind the influence of commentators when their motivation and support towards a certain team, for example, is home team, leads to specific sports commentaries that impacts on the arousal and intensity level. Thank you.